Hello, guys. Welcome, and thank you for joining us here under the lantern. My name is Asher.
My name's Clay. It's the first time we've done this and you've not fucked it up. It's great.
Hey, hey, I did it the first couple of times without messing up, and the last two times, my tongue was just all over the place. Like, it was not speaking English.
Hey, I I kind of like it because we've been keeping this natural. I think that's the thing that I've been liking about this. Like it's just
Yeah.
who we are, the place we're in for the day. I I know we were talking about it before we hit record, but I told you I was going to hit it again when we hit it. It's been a week, and so I've broken out my Knob Creek 7 year. Man, it was I mean, it's not his real name. You remember Perk from the old Minecraft server we used to play on?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one that put me on it because he likes Rise. And he tried to get me to get Whistle Pig, is the one that he really likes. And I've heard great things about Whistle Pig, but I can't justify. Like, at the store down the street, it's like $90 a fifth. And I'm like, man, if I spend $90 on a bottle of like some kind of rye or whiskey, any liquor, really, it's gonna be like a glass a year type thing. I don't make enough to justify like a $90 bottle being my go-to on a weekend. But this one, I told you it was like $60 for the bottle I got. Like that's enough that I'm like, you know, it's not a it's not a go-to, but I don't hate myself when I pour a glass of it.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
eh,
I usually just like for me, um, after like a rough day, either I'll probably have like an IPA maybe, or I usually keep like mostly like vodkas and tequilas. So like I'll just have a glass of that.
yeah,
Not like a
you're more
glass of the
a
actual alcohol, but like
yeah,
mixed.
you're more a clear liquor guy if you're going for liquor, but you and me both like IPAs. I remember the first like beer
Yeah.
you and me had. It was the first true beer you and me had was Shock Top. Man, I love a good Shock Top, but you don't see it anymore. Like going to the store, I don't see Shock Top in the cooler anymore. But I mean, it was it was that like sketchy like billiards bar, and
Yeah.
like everything was in the clear plastic cups, and I was like, oh man,
Um.
$3. I'll go for it. Shit.
Nah. Where's the best place you've been like in terms of like a bar?
Ah man, best place. I don't want to give names, but it's a place I need to take you. It's downtown. Uh, it's like a triple decker. Like the first floor is like a food court with a bar. The second floor, it's like a beer garden where it's got like 20 taps, and you get a wristband and you pour by the ounce. You pay by the ounce. It's a popular thing, so like me saying that's not going to throw off the place I'm talking about. But like you, let's say you wanted to try this one, but you weren't 100% sure you would like a whole glass of it. You pay for the 2 ounces you pour or try it, 2 ounces of another and try it, and then once you find the one you want, you can pour a full glass, and you just kind of go through with that. Because I know I went there with work one time, and that was what they bought a wristband on the company card, and we learned there's a limit to the wristband because the woman looked at me like I was crazy when I went up to tell her that we needed another wristband on the same card because she was like, "You maxed it out," and I was like, "There's 7 dudes all drinking off this one wristband. I promise, I have not sat here and slammed 8 beers." Like, and then the top floor is just a rooftop bar, and then they've got games and stuff throughout and simulators and things. it's cool. It's a cool place that you can go and just sit and relax and have a drink and then go do something, and you don't have to move all over the place. And I think if you get valet to take your car and then you buy one drink from either the food court bar or the rooftop bar, I think they validate your parking. So parking's free if you buy one drink.
Mm.
Like, it's a cool place. Like, if we get a weekend where you're here, I don't know if it's necessarily the best place to go when it gets cold, because a lot of it is open door, open window. But
We got coats. We'll be fine. Um,
they probably
no,
run specials because
I
it's that way. I
yeah, true. Nah, I mean, I have, as you know, like I do a lot of travel for work, but like I don't normally go out to different bars and stuff during work or anything like that, just because like when I'm working, I don't really have time for that stuff. But back when there's two trips that I could think of. Back when I was at Vegas a couple years ago, and then back when I was in Philly a couple years ago. Um, it's a toss up between the two of those. Vegas because of our dear friend that's there. Had a great time and all that. But Philly because I just kind of went there just for the hell of it. I was coming back from somewhere else and passed through Philly, and so I planned it in such a way that I stayed there for like a couple of days, and it was like it was an interesting trip. I did some interesting things that I can elaborate on at some point later, but um, I really enjoyed some of the bars and clubs and stuff they have up there. It's a it's I don't know, it's a weird environment. Like I've never really been much of a bar hopper, club guy, or anything like that. Um, but the few times that I've gone, I mean, I think out of all of them. And I mean, I can't really say a whole lot when in terms of like Vegas because we didn't really go to any clubs or anything. But like in terms of like the bar scene, I think Philly has a decent amount when it comes down to it. Vegas is still pretty good, but I would recommend Philly just because got some good places up there. But they have this one drink. I can't I can't recall exactly what it is. Um, it's like specifically for Philly, I believe. But I'm not 100% sure. But basically, it's they get one of their really nice beers. I don't know which one it is, but and then they put a shot glass in the center on the top. Or they give it to you on the side depending on where you go. But basically, the way that it works is you have to shotgun a shot of some sort of liquor. I think I was just getting vodka the whole time, but um, you have to take a shot of whatever the liquor is, and then you have to chug the beer that they give you. So some interesting stuff up there. Definitely will say. I mean, one of these days we definitely have to make a road trip up there to kind of you check out the scene there because it's really nice.
oh yeah, no, like I'm a big Philadelphia Flyers hockey fan, so like I know Philly's one of the places I want to go. But I thought you were going to tell me it was like an Irish car bomb or a Jaeger bomb. Because you and me did
Nah,
the last big trip we took when we went down to Charleston. We did Jaeger bombs at one of the bars down there. And
yeah,
the only thing about that is the guy pre-mixed them. I don't think I said it while we were sitting there, because that was really the first time you had ever drank, right? Was that the first time you had ever drank, or had you
yeah,
drunk a little bit
yeah.
before that trip?
Nah, that was the first time.
Yeah, like that was the only thing, and I didn't want to like throw it out there that it was wrong. But he's like pre-mixed it. And what it's supposed to be is they give you your Red Bull in a glass, and then they'll do a shot of Jaeger, and they balance it on top. And you're supposed to like slam your fist on the table. It comes from the Irish car bomb too, but like you slam your fist on the table, the shot drops in the drink, and it causes everything to fizz and mix while you then slam the glass back. So you get it mixing as you're drinking it. And I was like, but I mean, it's the same product at the end of the day. Him just pouring straight Jaeger in the cup, but I. But no,
Yeah, I mean,
you said that the other cool bar. Well, first, before I realized I cut you off there.
I honestly kind of lost my train of thought right after that. So,
Now, the other cool bar that I've been to, it made me think of it when you were saying that too. I out on our coast. I used to go to the coast a lot with my ex because her family grew up out there. And we were driving through like middle of the day, nothing to do, just exploring. And there was this place, and I saw it was open, and they were doing like a donation drive for an organization I knew. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull over because one of those I can't not give a couple dollars. Like, I pulled over and I went in and I got a beer and did the whole donation thing. And I was like, this place is cool, but like, it's just beer and concrete floors. The bathroom was humongous. I remember that. And then, like, we went our own way because I remember her asking me, she was like, yeah, that's one of the most popular bars in town. And I was like, I don't understand that. Why? Like, it's nothing special. It's just beer on tap, good atmosphere, a little pricey, but I mean, it's whatever. And then we were driving back through later that night. It is maybe like 8:30, and that place was fucking popping. And so I was like, hold on, I'm pulling back over. And we pulled over, and it was the best night of my life down there of just like meeting people, drinks. They had put a special on a couple of their specialty beers that they were brewing, and they opened up these big garage doors. So you're going straight from like inside at the bar, order your beer, they pour it, put it on the tab, set it up on the counter, and you walk right out of these big garage doors right onto the beach. They had the beach marked so you could go walk all the way to the water. They had some permit that lets you walk all the way to the water. And so I stood there with my feet in the water, listening to the wind, right in that weird, like, in between summer and fall where, like, nighttime feels good. And just drinking a beer, enjoying, it sounds awful, but some peace and quiet at the time.
I
It's
mean,
just, it was nice.
that's just how. Yeah, I think yeah, we gotta go check out. There's a lot of places that I know we gotta check out. But I mean, who knows if you guys have any like suggestions of like where to go, what has a great like bar hopping scene, any city or place or anything.
Yeah.
Hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Definitely be more than willing to try it out. But recently I did go to Houston for a concert down there, and the bars that are there are pretty decent too.
Yeah,
There
I've
was
heard
one bar
Houston's
that
pretty
we went
good.
to. Yeah, there's one bar that we went to. Basically, kind of it's sandwiched in between. Um, it's a corner bar, like a corner of the street. It's on the corner of the street, but right next to it, it has a pizza place to it. It's kind of attached. So the bar, you walk into the bar itself, but then behind the bar they have like an outdoor area. It's kind of like seating. They have live music playing, and um, they had these hammocks there, and man, those things are really really nice. But
I could just imagine
you
like
know,
slamming a couple drinks and then you look out and it's like, oh, hammock.
well, the whole place is fenced off, so
Yeah.
it's like very enclosed. But it was a pretty good vibe for sure. Like, there were a couple of other air places that we went to, bars and whatnot, but that one was definitely one of my favorites. At least Houston. So yeah, I want to go check out a bunch of different bar scenes in different places, different cities, and then just checking out different cities in general. But um, I think Tennessee is probably the most anticipated one
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
I already know. Like, a, I think I talked about it on the last one, but I made a trip out to Nashville, kind of beginning second week of October, and I went with some family, and it was nice going with family. It was a lot to see, and the history of the town. That's really cool. I like that side of things. But the second thought that I had after being like, oh man, this is cool, all this history, I was like, oh, me and him could fuck this town up. Like, get a place down on Broad Street and just make that city hurt from us.
Yeah, I mean, Nashville's definitely been on my mind for a little while now. But
The only thing is
I don't know. Have
Nashville,
you?
it's expensive. That's the only like downside. Is that like
Oh
everything
yeah.
is pricey as shit.
Well, I mean, to
Like,
be fair, like in many cities nowadays, a lot of the stuff is getting kind of expensive. So, I mean, it kind of, regardless of
yeah,
where you go, it's gonna be around the same.
and that's what
I know here,
is one of those like
like,
I remember looking and like you thinking that trip for you and me. I was like, we were staying a little on the outer side of Nashville and driving in and parking every day. And I was looking at Airbnbs already, and I was like, man, the Airbnbs right on Broad Street are expensive. But then I started adding it up, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's either you save $500 on the Airbnb and spend it on parking, or you spend it on the Airbnb and don't worry about parking.
yeah. I mean, and like the Uber options are not any better either because like
$50 Ubers.
you know, when I went to really anywhere that I've been, not obviously for work, but out of work places that I've been to, and I've been to a decent amount, but like Uber's that racks up too because each trip is its own, right? It's not a to and from. It's a to is one trip, from is one trip, and then depending on where all you go also adds up too. So even if you were to make the argument of, oh well, you could just get there and instead of worrying about parking, just Uber, it's about the same too, if not possibly more when it comes to Uber. So you're still saving a lot, just chucking up the extra to stay close nearby, so you can just walk everywhere. Um, but have you ever been to New York?
I've not been to New York. I know I want to go, and I've been looking a lot because it's one of those too. Like, I've thought if I went the like to New York, I hate planes. I hate the idea of planes. If we were meant to fly, God would have given us wings. Like, I know I'm gonna have to get on a plane because of some of the shit that I want to see, but like, I don't like the idea of a plane, and so I've looked like I could get on a train and take a train. It's like I forget, it was like an 8 hour train ride, and I was like, that could be cool.
Well, I mean, you got the train option, but I've driven to and from New York from where we are. I mean, it's a relatively lengthy distance, but
Yeah,
I've driven it, and honestly, like instead of flying up there, if we were to like do like a road trip up to New York, it would be really good because it would be really fun because there's two different routes that you can go through, at least from where we are, to get there. One is like mountains and like scenic roads and stuff like that. Like you can see a lot of like nature and all that, like
yeah,
a lot of scenery. And then the other route goes through a lot of major cities,
like Baltimore,
going all the way
DC.
up. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you would get to see a lot of different cities as you go up. So I mean, in terms of getting there to New York, I mean, after that point, I would not recommend taking a car whatsoever because it's awful. Like the second I went into New York, I was like, yeah, I'm not driving my car anywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
there was a
and
YouTuber I
it's
used
not
to
about the
watch.
cost.
Yeah. There was a YouTuber I used to watch that lived in New York, and it's what he talked about. He's like, "Yeah, I got a car, and I don't know why I got a car because I parked it in the parking deck and I don't touch it for 8 months." He's like, "It's just not worth getting in the car. You spend more time getting in your car and getting it on the street than you would walking to where you're going."
Yeah, I mean, again, once I got there, the amount of traffic that I kind of experienced getting there. No, like obviously the traffic that I experience is not normal traffic because I was there during New Year's Eve. So it's not like
Yeah.
ordinary New York traffic isn't a bunch of pedestrians crossing all streets everywhere, huddling into the epicenter of New York essentially. Um, but when I got there, I just the traffic was just so much, and so again, being that I went there during New Year's, I decided that I was just gonna park my car and either walk everywhere or um, take an Uber or something. And so that's what I ended up doing. And again, it may be cost effective to take your car. It may not be, depending on how much parking is and all that. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's about time saving. If you're in New York, especially if you're on the roads driving, you will most definitely get to your destination a lot later than you would expect.
Yeah.
Even just normal non-rush hour. So it's definitely more worthwhile just to pick a central location that you know where everything is and you know where what all areas you want to see. That's kind of walking distance essentially, and just walk it like that. That's the most effective. Or rent a one of those scooters
I
or
was about to say,
bikes or
like the
something.
Lime bikes, or
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other brands. Lime is just the one I'm familiar with.
There's one was it Bird? Something
Yeah,
Bird or
bird
something. I don't know.
scooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people had issues with those apparently.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, I mean New York. I feel like nowadays any city really you go to, um, it's gonna be relatively the same. Um, Even here, it's gotten pretty bad over the years. So it's I think it's just any city you go to, it's always gonna be like that. Which is why like I don't necessarily love driving through cities, but at the same
yeah.
time, if you're on a road trip, you're gonna want to explore. You're already exploring, so at that point, doing some stops along the way only makes
Yeah.
sense.
I was about to say, you just
But
enjoy the trip as much as the destination. I I know that's what I had to go across the state for a work thing. And that's what I was like, I could turn on Waze, it could take me right there, but I know the general direction I'm going. I know when I hit one of these towns, I'll turn it on to get me to the conference I'm going to. But I left like early in the morning and just started driving, taking the weird roads that I knew would get me in that direction. Because I was like, I just want to see something different. I want to see more of where I live than just the four roads that everyone tells me to take.
yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend for anybody that's out there, if you guys don't normally travel, or if you don't normally go on trips or vacations or anything like that, I recommend you do. It's not one of those you like. I guess it's arguably you can say it has to be something you do or something before you die or whatever, but it's not something you absolutely really need to do. I mean, most people kind of just stay in one spot for their entire lives, but I would highly recommend just going out and exploring the world. And I don't mean just going to big cities and stuff. I mean like, going to
Take that
salt
weekend
flats.
trip. Yeah. Take that
Yeah,
weekend
going to
trip
the
to,
mountains.
yeah, that weekend trip, go see something close by. Something that even if, like, if you're in a position you can't afford an overnight stay, go somewhere that's like an hour away, drive in, spend the day out there, and then drive home. Something so you can
Yeah,
get
I mean,
out, explore, see, do.
like I consider myself really fortunate that with work, with the job that I do, I get to travel quite a lot. Like that's a huge part of my job, and so for me, I don't even have to worry too much about making the time to go and just go check out a new place I've never been to, because it's kind of in the job description for me. But it's one of those, if you don't go outside of the place you're just always in, and you don't experience something different than the same thing over and over that you're always constantly used to, I think it's more of a you know it's gonna get you stuck in this pattern of just same shit, different day, right? But if you take occasionally, right, and this is not all the time, but occasionally you take a trip out, maybe a couple hours from where you are, or a whole nother state, city, however it be, um, it will definitely like it'll make you appreciate the world a little bit more.
Yeah, I can say that too. With sometimes you just need that break, and it honestly it's funny because we've been doing this. It was off the topic that I said that I was gonna get into, but it kind of rolls into it. The way that the world is today, as far as work culture, the way that we're expected to work, you need something to step away. You need a way to wash off your week, to wash off your day. Just relax, not be pulled into that Monday through Friday grind all the time because that's not healthy. I, you
Yeah, I mean,
need time to decompress.
yeah, if you're constantly putting yourself under the same pressures, and you eventually you're gonna get burned out, and that's just kind of the sad truth that everybody kind of has to deal with. Is eventually you're gonna burn yourself out, and you're just gonna constantly be frustrated. But if you take some time, go out, explore something, you know, it'll kind of give you a sense of fresh air.
Oh, yeah, no, because that's what, oh man, fucking work this week was atrocious. It all boils down to, and it, like I said, I know it was what I said I was going to talk about today with, I don't get the way the current work culture is, and I really think it started during the pandemic, but specifically in my position. Again, not getting into specifics where we try to keep ourselves a little anonymous here. I've kind of got my hands in a little bit of everything in my position. I've got a little bit of a tech background. I'm more classically trained in accounting and business, so I've got a little bit of that going on. I've got a little bit of the operations, a little bit of the PR, a little bit of the HR, everything going on. And when I originally signed on to work with the company I'm with, I signed for a 50-hour average a week. And I knew that was more than the 40, but the way it was presented to me, it was like some weeks are going to be 50, some weeks are going to be 40, some might be 60 if we're opening stores or we're doing different things where you might have to travel, you might have some travel that bleeds in. And I was like, okay, but we're starting to get into that mindset now of I'm getting phone calls at 6:30 in the morning. Mind you, that paper I signed was that my day starts at 8. I'm getting phone calls at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and when I don't answer because I'm getting up earlier, but that's me time, I'm getting up and going to the gym, and then coming home and taking a little bit of time to take a shower, get some breakfast, get some caffeine going. And so I'm not glued to my phone first thing in the morning. And then I miss those phone calls. And then when I start checking my phone around 7:30, 7:45, I've got people that are pissed off because I haven't answered. And then I go through the day and it's a constant slog. It's any job. I can't complain because it's the same thing as anyone else is going through. I'm fortunate enough, my job is at a desk and air conditioned. But then 5 o'clock hits. 5 o'clock is again what I agreed to as the end of my day. I understand it goes over sometimes, but it pisses me off when I get emails at 6:30 at night and I don't see them because I've put my phone down to have dinner with my family. Or I don't see them at 12 on a Saturday because I'm out spending time with friends. Or honestly, even 12 o'clock on a Saturday because my ass is like, hey, I've worked all week. I'm going to enjoy my Saturday. And I don't see the email. So then I start getting texts and calls and Teams messages. I start getting blown up from multiple people. That's my time. There's no balance anymore. I'm expected to work 24/7 without the benefits of 24/7 because I'm paid nowhere close to a 24/7 position. I don't know why this has become the normal because you see it everywhere.
Yeah, it's all about cost savings for when it comes to companies. They really like to cut their costs for a lot of things. Um, it's really bad, especially right now because that's the whole reason why there aren't really that many jobs or job openings out there. I know a lot of people um that are struggling right now to find a job. I mean, hell, at one point I was in the same boat, and that's honestly kind of why I work where I work now. It's because it's just really hard to find a job in practically any field right now. Like every single field is struggling. People are struggling to try and find a job, and it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know I've told you, but I've gotten to the point now where I want to find a different environment to work in, so I've started applying to other jobs. But nobody's returning applications because either a company's putting out a fake application to resume harvest, and so they get all these resumes, they get all these profiles, and they stick them in a little filing cabinet so when they do have a job, they can go ahead and search through, well, these people were interested the last time and we didn't have something. Now we have it. Let's call these people and try to fill it. That's your first thing that people are doing. B, you've got a job, I call it entry level, of the position we're in where it's you need 3 to 5 years of experience, a degree in the field, a couple skills maybe, and those are perfect for us. Those are the roles we could fill. But somebody that's 20 years into their career looking for a shift, looking for a downshift even, go, hey, I've got more experience, a higher degree, more to bring to the table. Of course they're going to choose them. I'm not mad in that instance that I'm not the one chosen, but that's the position of the job market too. And so I'm kind of stuck in this ballpark of I've got basic experience, I've got the degree, I've got everything, but no one's hiring. I mean, again, I don't get paid nearly as much as it would take if you broke my role out into the traditional roles. I'm getting paid one salary to cover a compliance position, a tech position, and an operations position. Where if all three of those where you said they're cutting costs, that would be 3 different jobs 10 years ago. But they can pay one salary, save the other two, because our generation didn't know better when we came into the field. We didn't know to ask for more because that was good to us. And then the cost of everything went up. The cost of living went up. All these other factors, and now we can't afford homes, and don't even fucking get me started on this 50-year mortgage shit that they started floating this last week. But yeah, you've got all of that, so I can't afford to move on with my life, but I can't find a job that's going to pay higher so I can start my life because those roles are being filled or not available at all. I don't know. I don't know where that leaves us because it just leaves me in a position where I'm pissed off every day because I'm getting blown up and have no personal time to separate and say, okay, I'm going to take a breather for me and I'll see y'all on Monday. I know I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. I sleep in on Saturdays, but I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning to probably 10 emails, 2 missed phone calls, in a job that I was told Monday through Friday and that they balance work life and home life. And the one
Yeah, I
time,
mean,
what were you saying?
what? Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I kind of had the same kind of thing with my previous job. It wasn't necessarily bad, but there were weeks. Once every so often, we all follow the same pattern where one of us would alter our weekly schedule. So instead of starting at 9, ending at 5, we would have to start at 2 p.m. and go all the way to 11 or 8 or, whatever the time difference is. I think it's 8. Wait, we would start around like, yeah, 1 or so and then end at like 8 or 9. But um at the forefront, I they didn't really tell me that, that's something that we normally would do. And so, whenever it came time for me for them to explain kind of that aspect of it to me, then I was like, well, it kind of throws me out for a loop because then it's just 1 week every like 4 or 5 weeks that my schedule's slightly different. So then it's just like it really throws off your whole work life balance type of thing. And like kind of going back to, how you were saying, that you're constantly on call and pretty much they make it sound as if you're constantly on call. It's it's kind of frustrating right now. Like, I operate on somewhat of an on call. Essentially, if there's an issue somewhere, then we kind of have to hop on and fix it, that kind of thing. But um, it definitely isn't as severe as yours. But yeah, when it comes to jobs nowadays, like, you I say this a lot. People deserve a little bit more than what a lot of companies are offering in terms of benefits, um, salaries, and all that from the work that they do. But again, right now, a lot of companies are just itching to cut costs here, there, or anywhere. And so, kind of a personal experience for me, back when I was applying, I noticed that a lot of companies, well, there's a couple of things that I noticed. One, that a lot of companies, they put down on their requirements either fresh out of college or you need like 5 to 10 years of experience on a lot of nitpick specific things. And it's like, for somebody like me, I'm not fresh out of college. I have work background, so I have a little bit of years of experience, but it doesn't meet or match anywhere close to that 5 to 10 year experience range that they ask for. And so it's like, right now, a lot of people are in that range where it's like, they haven't recently graduated yet. They're not quite as experienced as like senior level employees would be. And so a lot of people in this current generation are struggling because of that, because these companies want to kind of limit who they have. Because if you fresh out of college, they can shape you how they want you to be, but also they can pay you less because you're fresh out of college, and kind of entrap you in this kind of a deal where it's like you're not going to get paid much, but you're going to be expected to do double the work from what you're getting paid. And obviously, a lot of people are just taking it because there's no other options.
Oh
It's
no,
either they do that, they take it, and they just deal with the fact that they're getting paid a lot less than what they're worth, or just constantly roam aimlessly till they find something that can, help them make ends meet.
that's what that makes me think of why I think I told you about this, but it's still just like it'll creep up every now and then, and it just continues to piss me off because we had an intern over the summer where I work, and I guess I'll ask you: do you think if I say specifically what she was in school for, it would give any inkling to the environment I work in? You know the type I work in or work with. Yes, I could.
I don't really think it matters.
Okay.
Is that
The she's coming out of culinary school, and so she had been working with us as an intern, going back and forth, and we went out to lunch. Like it was right at the end of her internship when the company expressed interest in her staying. And they were like, we really like what you've done over the summer. We think you'd be a really good fit if you want to stick around. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do. She told me, she was like, yeah, I want to go do this other internship, and I know I want to go get my master's and all these things. And I was like, that's fantastic. And if you can do any of that remote, this could be a great place. And we went out to lunch, and it was a couple of us. And she was like, hey, I know you were in the same group as me, because I started the same way. I started as an intern and was asked to stay. And she was like, I'm just curious if it's too personal, you tell me to shut up. But I want to know what to expect. Like, what was your salary when you got out? You know, what's kind of, what am I looking at? Not to beat around the bush or just keep going in a circle. She was wanting to know what to expect. I don't care. I was like, that's not too personal at all. I understand you want to know what's coming down the pipeline, and I answered her questions on like what to expect as a starting salary, because even though I'm an accounting focus, she was a chef focus, we're doing the same job at the end of the day. It's the same skill set, it's the same background, and like the same background in what the job will be. I didn't think anything of it. 2-3 weeks later, in some conversation, she had used it as leverage. Again, as she should be able to say, I know my peer is in this position and that's what I expect. And my boss was like, hey, I need to talk to you. Can you come to my office? Shut the door. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, oh, we doing some kind of eval? Or sometimes he'll do that if he just wants to have like a personal one-on-one talk just to catch up. And he was like, hey, so we don't talk about salaries here. Like we don't answer these questions. And I know I kind of looked stunned, and he was like, well, we just want to make sure because you might be making more than somebody and you don't want to make them upset because they don't necessarily know the skills you bring and the skills that they have. And I just told him, I was like, man, I wasn't trying to cause an issue, but you also can't tell me not to talk about my salary. That is a protected thing that I can talk about because I want my peer to be on a level playing field. And his response to me saying that was, well, I could go to any culinary school in the country and get a chef for half of what you get paid. And that just rubbed me the wrong fucking way. Like, I could understand. I'm coming in, accounting field, I do a highly specialized accounting job, whatever. I understand I'm going to make more than someone coming in data entry as a chef. But if she is doing the exact same fucking job as me, it doesn't matter where she graduated, she should expect the same money as me. guy or girl. I'm not even saying that in a me as a man and her as a girl type thing, because I know that's a whole conversation. But just from that base level, I don't care if she's graduating from culinary school. She should expect doing the same job as me, the same pay as me. Anyone. I, it rubbed me the wrong way. I told him, I was like, look, man, I am protected in that I am allowed to talk about that. I didn't mean to cause any quarrels if she is upset, but if she's upset, it's not because I told her a number. It's because you told her doing the same job as me, she will make less. And that was where we left it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, one of the next episodes, we're probably going to talk about the whole equal pay thing and all that. But in regards to this, I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Especially like if you're forget about even the same company, if somebody else is working for a different company and they're trying to find a new job or anything like that, obviously they're going to want to know how much they're going to get paid because if it's not any more than their current job, there's no point, right? Unless if the atmosphere at that job is horrible, you're not getting any support from your administration or anything like that, then yeah, then it may be time to change for a slightly less pay, but as long as it's a better environment, that's understandable. But if you're trying to find a new job because you're trying to um, you know, just get yourself out there, try and make more money and whatnot, then that's something that you're going to focus on primarily is how much would you get paid. Now, if you go to a company and people at that company that you're trying to apply to, you're going to ask them like, hey, how much is it? Like, how much do you get paid? What's the work like? All that stuff. That's common questions that everybody gets. Um, and so to say that can't get that information from somebody that works there when you're trying to get a job knowing that you want the right amount of pay, it's in my opinion, it would only hurt the company more because they're kind of putting themselves on a limit to how much they're willing to compensate you for your efforts. And I think a lot of companies, what they need to do is they need to kind of break down the structure and see, who gets paid what, but who does what work, right? And then they can effectively adjust pay for people that are genuinely doing more work versus the people that may not be doing as much.
Well, and that comes down to more of a structure thing. I mean, I know you saw it in your last job, and I think anyone who's worked in a modern position, for lack of better words, in what we've got today, it it almost seems like the better job you do, the less likely you are to promote, move up, and get the pay increases, get the title changes, all of that, because you doing a good job in the position you're doing is more lucrative than giving you more money and moving you up in the organization now. And the ones that just know how to kiss ass and move on and never create anything good, it brings me back to our marketing person, our marketing lead, good lord. She is tackling newspaper because that's what we've always done. Who the fuck is getting the newspaper ad today? You're telling me, as somebody that is getting paid boatloads of money to do our marketing strategy work, you still think it is the best investment of our advertising dollars to put out newspaper ads?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've got a proven track record from the few ad campaigns I've had to put together because I get no support on it. And that one of the programs I run specifically, if I put a direct mailer in someone's mailbox with a coupon $5 off and hit their email one time, I'm going to get an 80% click-through rate and a 60% redemption rate on my coupon. and bring in more than our last 10 years of newspaper like ad dollars combined.
Yeah, I my that's another thing is when it comes to companies, they hire people that, in my opinion, aren't as qualified as others just because they can cut pay, cut costs. But what people don't realize is when you cut costs, it only ultimately costs your company, the loss in revenue because you're putting people that are not as effective and one may take more time to complete certain tasks than others, but also two aren't doing the tasks in a manner that are effective and efficient. They do it in a way that's kind of poor, kind of um, unprofessional to some degree because these people may not even quite understand how to do certain things just because they took shortcuts and whatever else. But a lot of these companies don't understand that it's just costing them more money at the end of the day.
Yeah, I forget what the number is, but it's something like $10,000. Just doing the rough math in my head, what I do remember, $10,000 of good work typically equals out to missing $70,000 of bad work, redoing it and having to go through it again. It's the same thing with why our generation is one that is the most likely to walk out of a job like we're in. If you can find something to move up, it used to be our grandparents, you got a job and you stuck with that job. You started at 20 and some entry level, and you left as one of the higher management after putting in 45 years. And you were in the same job and you continued to move up and got meaningful increases in pay and title and status. And now it's more lucrative for our generation to work something for 3 or 4 years, get some experience, and then move on to another job for 3 or 4 years. You get more increases in pay. And I mean, it all comes down to that where it's the same thing. Companies don't realize that it costs less to incentivize who they have to stay than it does to put in everything they have to put in to hire someone to replace that position. I know it's all about dollar savings, but it's like we miss the bigger picture and go, okay, we can save 100 grand because we're only paying this one kid 50,000 to do it rather than three kids 50,000 each. But then that kid finds somebody who's going to pay 85,000 and the title increase and give him everything he's been wanting. And now they're out $500,000 between ad postings, job postings, missed work, lost work, having to do interviews, everything like that, incentives. You're not saving money at the end of the day when you run these kids off and 10x your costs.
Yeah, and again, uh, your people companies are charging more for certain things, but they're spending a lot less on the quality, and the quality is not going to be there. If the quality is not there, then your customers are not going to enjoy it, and then they're going to be like, "What? I'm not going to buy a product from this company anymore." So I
That's
don't know. I think,
another that was another cool metric that I'd learned. One of the conferences we did for work when I first started, and it stuck with me now for going on 5 years. Uh, I mean, it's obvious I work in a retail type space from the way that I've been talking, and you can offer middle of the road product. At the end of the day, your consumer gets it that when you're coming into a retail space, you're going to have your higher end and your lower end. But to continue to keep people coming in, even if you offer the lower end of mediocre, One good experience gives something like a 10% chance of somebody sticking around and coming back. You give them two good experiences, it only increases to a 12% chance. You give them three good experiences in a row, it's something like 82% chance that they're going to return back and become a loyal consumer. But you have one bad experience, even after the study that we were looking at, even after 100 good experiences in a row, they have one bad experience. It drops back down to a 5% chance they ever return. And you can apply that right to the employees as well. That if you continue to give good experiences, you will continue to have a loyal employee. But the moment you give them a bad experience and it's never corrected, it's never recognized, that it's just, this is how it is, this is the slog, let's keep pushing, we'll figure it out, we'll work it out, things will change, and it never does, you run that person off, and there is slim to none chance that it can be fixed if you don't try in the moment. And companies don't get it.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, a lot of companies just kind of need to kind of look at their, I guess, business model, but also look at like the way that they're doing their business and how how it is going. If it's going great, then by all means. But um, I can guarantee you a lot of businesses aren't doing so hot. And so if you just take a second to kind of look at how it's going, how it could go, what you would need to do to get it to a much better place, you would kind of come to the realization that you can't just cut corners. You can't just get people that are willing to take a less pay, but produce something that's a lot less quality than you promise your, you know, customers or clients or however it is. And so, yeah, I think today was a really random string of topics and
Yeah.
conversation, more just kind of out of nowhere, random stuff that popped in. But hope you guys
And
enjoyed it.
I was about to say, kind of the way that I said there at the open, I say there at the open, I think it was like 20 minutes into it. Just, we keep it natural. I mean, this is just our normal conversation. That's what sparked this whole thing. I mean, of course, we had the whole Charlie Kirk. I know that was in our original episode of. It made us feel time to amplify a voice, put a voice out there, all of that. But it was also in that, like, man, if we're just going to sit down and have these conversations anyway, just you and me, and just enjoy talking to each other, we can hit record while we talk. These are the things we talk about anyway. It's the same type of conversation we're going to have. That's why it feels natural, at least to me, of just, it's what we do anyway. We sit down, have a drink, talk about the week, get it out. I mean, we talk through the week, but just to get the shit out. And if it means that there is somebody out there that can listen to this and go, oh, so I'm not fucking crazy. I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same mind space. I'm feeling these ways. I don't get it. At least you know you're not alone. You know somebody else is going through the same struggle. Somebody's going through the same tax bracket. Somebody's going through the same bullshit. And it just gives you a place where you feel like you're not alone. And so,
Yeah, and I mean, trust us. We've had our fair share of ups and downs when it comes to anything involving just life in general. But it's always good to talk to somebody. It's good to just kind of get it out. Hell, if you guys have any sort of things that you're facing right now, or you'd want or be willing to talk about, you can always write it down in the comments, and maybe we can discuss it in the next episode or something like that. But
yeah,
it's always
I was gonna say
yeah,
too. I
life
mean,
is kind of just
we've got the X in the channel as well. I was thinking about this the other day too. If you even just wanted to bounce back and forth on ideas, you could always hit that. I think I'm the one that mostly logs into it, but if it was ever directed towards you as well, I mean, I know you can get into it. If that's somewhere you wanted to talk back and forth, you could always shoot a DM there too.
Yeah, I mean, again, everybody goes through walks of life. Nothing is ever easy. Nothing is ever just handed to you. You have to go through a lot to get to where you want to be. And so, if you guys are facing anything, struggles or anything like that, always know that everybody goes through that, right? Everybody goes through challenges, difficulties, and things like that. Hell, we go through that all the time. But at the end of the day, it's about how you carry yourself through it that really matters. If you're going to, you know, look at it, say it's not worth it, turn around, and then, go down an easier path, sure, it's going to be easier path, but you're not going to reach your destination. It may lead you somewhere astray. It may take you, somewhere where you don't want to go. You might end up getting a job that you absolutely hate, or never be able to just accomplish what you set yourself out to do. So, um, it's always important to, if you're facing challenges, if you're facing these difficulties, um, regardless of how hard everything might be, it's how you carry yourself through it. How you take the hits as they come, but you still keep going. Um, so for anybody out there that's going through difficult time, just know that at the end of the day, you can. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Reach out to people that you love and care about. Reach out to people that you're constantly in communication about, and just talk to them, get some advice. Try and find solutions to get out of any difficult situation that you're in. But there's always a way out. There's never a closed door.
Yeah, it's something that I've always tried to live by too. I feel like I say this a lot, but I don't remember where I heard it from. But it was something I heard when I was younger, in that failure and hardship isn't the end of anything. The only time something ends is when you quit. And so, facing something, like you were saying, there's always some way through it. There's always some way to get through whatever you're facing. And so, while you may fail at it, it may be difficult. You might hit a wall. You might get slowed down. Don't take that as, well, it's time to give up and quit. Take that as okay, this didn't work. The hammer's not breaking the wall down. It's time to get the sledgehammer. That's not working. It's time to get the jackhammer. Continue to pull through your resources and find what you truly want to do. Find where your calling truly is and what you're meant to be, and be ready to push through any wall that's in your way, and know that somebody out there has your back. If no one else, I'm rooting for you. I know you're rooting for them. At the end of the day, you've got people that are cheering you on, even if they never say it to you. There is somebody that has looked at you and went, hey, they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess that's a bit of uh I guess motivation from us too. I don't know how much motivation that actually is, but um, you know,
I feel like we
take
get
it how you
philosophical.
will, how you must. But anyways, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
At least for this episode. Stay
I was,
tuned for the next ones.
yeah, I was about to say, if you liked it, leave us a like. If you got anything you want us to talk about or anything you got to say about this episode, of course, leave us a comment, subscribe to continue this journey with us. I honestly think out of the few things we've tried on YouTube, this is the longest we've gone with anything. uh, so it's nice. It's nice to sit down, have a conversation, talk with those around you, Listen to those around you, whatever it may be. I always say talk because, again, that comment section is open for anything that you have to say, the DMs on X, anything. But at the end of the day, whether you leave us a like, whether you leave us a comment, we want you to know that this light is here for you and will always have a seat for you here under the lantern. Thank you guys for listening.